Hi, I'm EduCat, and you may know me from all my storybooks that I read, that I love reading and sharing with you guys, and hopefully they have been helpful to you. But I actually wanted to do something a little bit different, and I've been meaning to do this for a while, and that's a tour of my old classroom. This is a tour of my classroom. Let's get cracking. Tips for your classroom. Take photos and videos of your space. Get rid of unwanted things and use what you have. If we start the classroom tour from the beginning where the door is, and we make our way around, I started off by covering ugly surfaces by using visual aids instead, using removable stickers, and using coloured contact paper is another idea that you can use to just cover ugly doors. As you can see, there are lots of sticky tape marks and everything, and they can be a bit of an eyesore. Not everyone gets bothered by these things, but I actually really do. So I bought these spotty stickers from Amazon, and they have a really nice, I would say, like a watercolour effect, like very subtle in some areas. I then used my own display called FAR, which is the school's motto: friendship, achievement, respect and resilience. And then I created these weekly whales using, again, just card and then laminating them. So I bought these cut out letters from Amazon. They're really helpful and handy. You just have to just sort through them all and find the right letters, but they're really handy to use. So again, we start from this corner of the classroom, and as you can see, our display boards were very tiny, but I would again use a lot of my own handwriting. I wouldn't always print everything from Twinkle or online. I would do things myself because I happen to be that kind of a person. These are origami squares, again from Amazon. They're really amazing to use. And again, I used those cut out letters to create a word wall. So whenever we come across interesting words in books and things from reading, we would then put the words onto this word wall for the children to make reference to. So they're known as magpie words. Having a word wall is like a visual place to record rich, amazing wow words. Children will see and use these words. As a working wall, it is interactive for teachers and students as well. I then did use some things from Teacher Pay Teachers, which is an American thing. Some of them can be really cute. Like I do think the melon heads are a bit weird and wacky. And here I've used punctuation, reminders on this large cupboard space that we have over here. And I even got the timetables as well, which can be a bit of a bother because you have to cover them up when we have tests. And there's more of those circle stickers around as well. Again, laminating it can be handy, but I would like to say that I am very conscious of the environment and I don't try to laminate too many things. I then have a display board over here where in the beginning of the year I got the children to do a self-portrait. This just gives the children a sense of belonging to the classroom. It gives them a bit of pride. So over here, I did actually purchase these really great crayons from Crayola, and they cover pretty much all skin types. So they're very inclusive and they're diverse, and they ensure colour representation, which is something that I didn't have growing up. Again, it's a nice thing to have. At the back of the class is again another eyesore, and this might not bother some people, but it just bothers me. So these are just actually tapestries from Amazon again. They're not hard to put up. It's just a little visually pleasing thing to put up, quite cost effective as well. And I have this tip for time management, and that is to have a clock on both sides of the classroom. So when I'm facing this wall, I can see the clock. So I'm constantly aware of what time it is. And on the other side of the classroom, I have another clock. So as soon as I come into my classroom, I can see what time it is. I've always had this, and I think it's really a game changer. My lessons never really go over or anything like that. Another tip is it's just nice again to have visually pleasing things in your classroom. It just shows to the children that you care, you've taken the effort into making the classroom space nice, and it's also shows SLT and other members of staff that that you do care about your classroom. So that doesn't have to cost the earth. I do go to charity shops. I get things from from jumble sales. I have things from home. Again, another tapestry that was a Vincent van Gogh one. This actually was something that I bought that was way too big. I didn't check the measurements, but it came in really handy in my classroom. Right, so tips for organisation and time. If you are a massive coffee drinker like me, it's just best to just keep everything in your classroom space rather than making trips to the staff room. Again, that's everyone's preference. Some people just want to leave the classroom and make time away from it in a staff room. That's fine. I just found that I just felt that it was just easy to have everything available. So when the children sometimes would copying down the LI or the date, or I had a quick moment, they're having snacks, I quickly make my coffee, and everything is available here behind the curtain. So as you know, I do the Viper, in the school we do the Viper stems, but I used it as a visual prompt with the Viper stems all safety pinned onto the snake. And I had the Very Hungry Monster book by Rosie Greening as something to have for the children to write down their worries in. And this is a table that was left outside the classroom. When you are a teacher, you will know there are so many things left about nobody wanted. So I decided to take it, and it was actually one of the best things I could have used in my classroom, because look how easily these IKEA stools slot into it. And this became a sort of reading station, involved using a laptop, and finding space for the two laptops. By finding space for the children was always a bit tricky. The classroom that I have is quite small. So if you can upcycle things, that's really handy. Then it just makes things a lot more easier. This is the library space that we have. So the first thing you do when you have a new classroom is clear out all the torn and unusable books. Be really ruthless with that. Get rid of the clutter that's just not workable, because the children are not going to respect books that have already not been respected. So I organised the books into categories, into different genres like history. I categorised them into by authors, early, advanced readers, and I also had a range of books. I included things like magazines, National Geographic magazines as well. I also had books that were my own. So I really definitely would suggest to any new teachers that invest in books, but they don't have to be expensive. They can be charity books, they can be secondhand. And sometimes the new books aren't necessarily the best books. So the library area has this little corner here where I just put down a rug and a couple of cushions to make it a little bit cozy. Another thing that I have over here in this corner is like a station area, I guess is what you'd call it. And these boxes, again, it's not about wasting a lot of money, it's finding what you have. So this is literally on the floor, because again, like I said, my classroom is not huge. You know, you ask children, right, go and get your books, and then you've got 30 children going to get their books. It just doesn't work. And these radiators, they had these little sort of, what would you call it, grids at the top to just have laminated visual aids available. Again, it's just trying to use space wise. The cupboards that you saw at the back is where children put their coats and bags, but from their bags they would take out their reading books. So I would get the children to put those into these kind of laundry gardening tubs from Wilkinson. So tubs, buckets, baskets, hooks and trays are all ways in which you can use storage for your classroom.